All right. So let's talk about stem cells a little bit. All right. So I'm going to have to be a little vague in some of the things I say. Stem cells are legal to do in the United States. You just can't say they'll help anything. So no matter how much research you have, you can't be, the FDA said, until the FDA comes out and says it officially, we can't say anything. So you could have 100 studies showing it does the exact thing your patient's asking, will this help me with? And you can be like, here's all this research that says it's done great things. And they'll go, well, will it help me? And you go, I can't tell you that. You've got to extrapolate from the research. So that's basically where we're at. So when people are like, well, will it help me? We can't say anything. Now, here's my favorite part of stem cells because of that legal piece. What we legally have to say is that drugs, stem cells, supplements, nothing heals the body. Only the body heals the body. So what we legally have to say, because it's the most accurate thing to say, is that the power that made the body heals the body, and only the power that made the body can heal the body. If you inject stem cells into dead tissue, it ain't helping anything. You give pharmaceuticals or do surgery to dead people, nothing happens because they're dead. The power that made the body has left the body, so that now the power that made the body can no longer heal the body. That is 100% physiological, factual, and legally 100% accurate. So the fact that we have to now come back to the old adage that I keep saying is that the power that made the body heals the body. So isn't that fun? What actually happens is that stem cells give all the healing functions, growth factors, regeneration factors, instructions, codes back to the body so it can do the job of healing itself the way it needs to. So we've done a bad job explaining inflammation to people. So let me kind of explain a little bit of inflammation. There's two types. There's metabolic inflammation, which, think of it this way. You got a guy peeling potatoes because he needs the inside of the potato to make the mashed potatoes, not the outside. So he peels off all the peels and leaves them on the floor. Okay, so he can get the thing he actually wants. Body does kind of the same thing. Takes a chemical, rips off all the stuff it doesn't need, gets the core part of the chemical it does need, moves that into metabolic function. The rest of the stuff laying around is metabolic waste. So that's one type of inflammation. The other type of inflammation is literally your body screaming. And it's not screaming because it's in pain. It's screaming because it needs stuff. It's like, hey, I need some water. And you don't have any water. Well, it's going to keep screaming for water or for CoQ10 or for glutathione or for whatever it's screaming for, right? And if you don't have it, it's going to keep screaming. The reason why things are anti-inflammatory, let's say omega-3s, and your body's like, we need more omega-3. And your body goes, here's some omega-3. And he goes, all right, cool, we're good now. It quiets down that inflammation. It's the easiest way to think of it. So when you have this inflammation from damage, from tears, from rips, for age, for whatever is in the body, right? Autoimmune issues, whatever it is, and you give the body back the chemicals and the growth factors and all the things it requires to heal, regenerate, and repair that tissue, it reduces the inflammation and heals that tissue. So think of the inflammation less as like a fire and more of like a desperate call for a list of ingredients it needs. When the body gets the list of ingredients, we've quelled the inflammation and calmed it down. So this is one of those things where like people are like, oh, inflammation is always bad. No, inflammation is actually not good or bad. When you work out really hard and you stress the muscle tissue and you're like, oh, I'm exhausted, I can't lift anymore, and your muscles are sore and puffy, they're inflamed. But what they do is they go, oh my gosh, we need more molybdenum and selenium and cofactors and like all that. And your body goes, cool, we have all those things, and gives it to it. And the body regenerates and heals because it was inflamed and asking for these specific nutrients, gets the nutrients, inflammation goes away, healing commences, muscle growth happens. That's kind of the easiest way to think about it. I just boiled a whole lot of metabolic chemistry into really, really, really base elements. So take that for the looseness that it is. But that's how they work. And so there's two main types that are being used right now. We're bringing both into the office. We've got factored cells, which is kind of the first half of the really big stuff with mesenchymal stem cells, which is the big overarching umbrella. So the factored cells are basically all the growth factors. They're all the healing factors. They're interleukin 10. Interleukin 10 is really cool. So it takes this like super pro-bad inflammatory stuff, the interleukin 6, and shifts it to like beneficial inflammation, beneficial function with interleukin 10. So it does all these different kind of chemical shifts, chemical resets, regeneration, healing, that type of thing. So that's what the factored cells do. They do it all right now, right? So it's like all the stuff you need to put the fire out right now. Now, the exosomes from MSCs or mesenchymal stem cells go in kind of the back end, and they have the RNA, and they go in and they rewrite the code on your cells. It goes, hey, from now on, don't do this, do that. Like, I know that you guys have kind of been straying away over the last 15, 20 years from doing the things you're supposed to do. Back over here, do these things better like this. That's, again, a very, very loose analogy of what's going on. So think of them kind of that way. So when you look at factored cells and you're like, why are these so much cheaper than a full-blown mesenchymal stem cell process? That's one of the reasons. The other thing is that there's a lot of people who don't necessarily need the exosome function. So if you just tore something, a tendon, a ligament, or something like that, if you've got, other issues, I'm trying to be as vague as I can, that are more tied to aging or just stuff just all torn up and not working right, like over time type of stuff, the vast majority of people are going to get phenomenal benefit out of the factored cells, and they're way cheaper. And so that would be an option that a lot of people could look at. Again, I can tell you what research has shown. I can't tell you if it'll help you personally at all, but what we've seen good benefit from research-wise is people are feeling better from, when they do stem cells and they had long COVID. People are looking and feeling better, and they're happier with hair loss, especially hair loss associated from COVID and stuff like that. Burns, ligaments, tendons, joints, healing, stuff like that. Stem cells can actually become other tissues. There's a lot into this. I could talk about this for 2 hours, but there's a lot more into this where they can't produce tumors because they're not what's called polymodal, they're multimodal, which means they can turn into bone, ligament, tendon, fat, like muscle, that type of thing. They can't turn into organs, and the chances of growing tumors are very, very small. And the vast majority of these things are cultured cells. They're not coming from umbilical tissue. They're cultured over years to be processed and safe. So we are going to bring these into the office. So if you guys have been have questions about them, if you guys have been looking for them, if you guys want, you've got that old injury that you're always wondering, how I'd like to try this as an option before I do surgery, or the best option is I just had surgery or I'm about to have surgery and I want to increase my body's ability to heal as fast as much as I possibly can, especially if I'm over the age of 30 or I'm a high-end athlete trying to get back into my sport in the middle of the season or right before season type of thing. So if you guys have any other questions about stem cells, factored cells, or that type of stuff, give the office a call and we'll go through it. You guys have a fantastic day.